Yeah, I mean, it was pretty incredible just over the last 18 months. And it's not just for the Sky. I think it's for the league writ large. I think every franchise is feeling this moment and the momentum that's around it, from the viewership, from a media perspective, from ticket sales, the engagement from fans that are in the arena, net new fans that are coming in. For us, our draft class was fantastic with Kamilla Cardoso and Angel Reese. Has been fantastic to add an injection of new energy to the franchise. We, made a pivot and hired Teresa Weatherspoon as our head coach, which is fantastic. We split the role of coach and GM this season as well, and hired Jeff Pagliacca, who was a mastermind around going from 0 draft picks to some of the best picks that we could have gotten in the draft in the offseason, which was amazing. So I think we're hitting on all cylinders. I think it's now just the time for things just to gel, right? So to sort of to coalesce, so to speak. And that's been probably one of the most heartening elements of the last year and a half. And that, I've had some, real ability to, make some of that happen. So that's felt really, really good. So that's just been over the last year and a half since I've been there, Erica. I also just, this is not, as LL Cool J said, don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. Like, there's people who've been here for decades, investing and propping up and, driving the league forward. So, I just want to make sure that we're putting things in context, that this isn't something that started 2 years ago. This is something where the groundwork has been laid brick by brick over time. And as with anything that happens in culture and history, things seem to happen slowly and then all at once. And I think that's the case here. As a fan, I was not an athlete growing up. I actually was a thespian, so did lots of theater stuff as a kid. But I did grow up in the north suburbs of Chicago in the 90s. So I was here during the Jordan era. That was so defining for my own childhood. I've said in other interviews, I remember going down to the championship celebrations on Metra without my parents knowing, with my best friends who lived in Highland Park. And so we met and, sort of got downtown and walked from the train station to the park. I mean, the whole night. I remember all of that and how, like, it was a heady experience just culturally as a teenager coming up in Chicago. And so I hope that the Sky can be that in the next chapter for the city. You have the Bears, who have had a great draft as well. You have the Blackhawks and the Bulls, who are investing in Project 1901 for the West Side of Chicago. I mean, we are doing things to help the city of Chicago and make this something that the fans here can sort of be excited about and be attached to create even more loyalty for generations to come. So that was attractive to me, just with the Sky, the opportunity that existed. But a lot of it wasn't because I was here for basketball. It was because I care a lot about women. And I care a lot about women winning. I care a lot about African Americans, and the league is 80% African American. I was a CHRO, a Chief Human Resources Officer, in my career through tech and entertainment for 20 some odd years before I came to own the team. And so that was my life's work, of creating cultures where people could reach their fullest potential, and often those that are at the margins. And I think the league is predicated on that. So how can I do something that's bigger than me, that's going to have an imprint on the world through a platform that matters and that's consequential? And that's the WNBA, and more specifically, the Chicago Sky. And how great is it that I was able to be a part of a franchise that's here in my hometown, right? So there's a lot of personal and professional alignment here that just feels really, really good. And I haven't had that opportunity in my career. So the facility is great. It's going to be state-of-the-art performance center for our players, dedicated to the Chicago Sky. I know it was earlier reported they thought that we were going to be in the current existing sports center that exists there. That's not true. This is a net new facility that we're groundbreaking just for this purpose. 40,000 square feet of prime space for us. 24-hour access for the players, which I know is important, because sometimes you just want to put shots up at 2 a.m. because you just couldn't sleep, or you want to, go on the weekends or on a holiday. This is an opportunity for that to happen. Secure entrance and exit, so no issue for the players, but also have spaces within that practice facility that can be open to the general populace, because we are Chicago Sky. We are the city. We are in the zeitgeist. We're of it. We're of our fans. We want to have those permeable boundaries so people can feel like we're very accessible. We're not a team that's on the hill that people are like, oh, That's not us. We're the sky. So our facilities will be open and inclusive in that way. We'll have all the bells and whistles that you have at, any premier sports performance center, from, the sort of the training facilities. We were going to have a clinic for our team medical staff to be there to support our players. Locker rooms are sick. They're amazing. I'm so excited about the renderings that we have for them. Everyone's going to have their dedicated space and locker. We have a private chef's kitchen. So not just, staging food, but making food, because we can entertain there. They can bring their friends and family there. It's just going to be all around a really fantastic place with all the right amenities. We want this essentially to be their third place. They live in their apartment or wherever they live. They play at the Wintrust Arena, and this will be the third place where they spend the other parts of their life outside of the court and outside of their home. And we want to support that. We have content creation studios, which I think is really amazing, not just for our front office staff, who I must say our social media team is elite. It's fantastic. So we want to make sure we have a space for them, but also our players themselves are on TikTok. They're on Instagram. They're on Snap. They're doing all the things in the social media space, because we live in the digital marketing era, and they are looking at themselves and showing themselves in all parts of their lives, and we want to support that. We have beauty stations. We have women who are here changing the game on the fashion scene. I sit on a corporate board for a fashion brand, and when I'm in board meetings and we're talking about what the trends have been coming out of women's sports, like, never have I had that conversation in years, right? So that's a moment too that we want to support. So we have all of that and more, media room, et cetera. So to make this a space that will be something that can stand the test of time, not just for now, but for the future. And then the last thing I'll say is the location. So ideally, of course, we would have wanted to be downtown Chicago, right in the loop, but, there aren't, acres and acres of open land that exist in downtown Chicago, or facilities that are purpose-built just for us. So we thought breaking ground on a space that was just 10 or 11 miles outside of the city, 14 minutes on a good day, 22 minutes on a bad day from Wintrust Arena, to get to where we had great community partners in the village of Bedford Park, I think was a win-win for everyone. And prioritizing the player, prioritizing the longevity of the franchise. And I hope for them elevates the criticality and the seriousness and of the fact that this is a business, not a cause. This isn't a hobby. I am not someone who inherited all this and I can play around. Actually, I worked hard to be where I am, to be in this place, to invest in the team. And so this needs to work, and I care a lot about it. And the business needs to be strong. It needs to be a going concern. That is what I bring to bear from my previous experience to this place. But also we have a place of extraordinary women who are literally creating history, that are changing the trajectory of sport, that are engendering new fans. I just had a daughter, she's 9.5 months old, and I love the fact that she's going to grow up in this world and see that women's sports are just as consequential as men's sports. There won't even be a difference for her. And I'm a part of that. That's what I care about. That's why I'm here. That is why I'm here. So hopefully it's not just the practice facility that free agents are seeing. They're seeing all of it. They're seeing the full picture, and the type of ownership group we are. That's what this is about. This isn't a game. This is real, and this is something that's bigger than us. And it is my legacy, it's our legacy, it's our sort of imprint on the world. I care a lot about it, and I hope that free agents see that too. And the practice facility is just but one factor. And I think, it's nice to see. I think, quite honestly, in the arms race of sports, this is just sort of table stakes from here on out. So I know we're having a conversation now, but probably we'll forget about this in a couple of weeks, and then we'll move on to the next thing. And that's the way it should be, quite honestly. It shouldn't be sort of an event that we're saying, finally, it's okay, move on, next chapter. That means there's progress. So that's what I hope that free agency, and that there's the signal that we're investing, but that this particular ownership group with the Chicago Sky cares a lot. The idea of prioritizing getting a practice facility has been going on for a while. And when I say a while, I know even before I even came on officially, so at least 2 years we were talking about it. And I know even before then we were in some conversations. This is that our community partnerships are very important to us. With the Obama Foundation, the YMCA of Chicago, one of the things that was important, if we were not going to be like in downtown Chicago, we were going to be with community partners where we could go to the people. And with Obama Foundation and the Y and just their locations and their positioning in the communities that sort of feed our fan base, it was important for us to know that they're going to be our first look for any programming we do with Sky Cares, with our camps, anything we do with like Nike camps, anything we do with our season ticket holders, our ownership group, any press, et cetera, will be with them as our primary location. So we're with our people, so it's great. Hopes for the future is that we win another championship, bring another one to Chicago, full stop. That's the tweet. You know what I mean? There's nothing else left to say. That's where we are. And I'm excited for that to come through, right? And I believe that we can, and I believe that we will. So that's the future. And again, if I can make my teenage dreams come true to make the Chicago Sky feel the same way culturally to the city of Chicago as the Chicago Bulls were with Michael Jordan when I was here in the 90s, that'll be something really special.